did it go?
Madam, I am Mr. Pritchard. I'm a professor of cinema, specifically Japanese, 1950s to the 1980s. And I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing here. I'm very much in favor of Kevin's reemergence, and yet I find myself in a goddamn prison cell, and I can assure you I am not an...
Young man, wait! You will not be able to get to the light. It is set off by distance as well as being monitored by a camera. I know this seems very unfair to you, but you are stuck in this room.
Guy the Beast fought, he's right there. You can't beat the Beast. You don't think you can beat the Beast, does he? Huh? Beast's like, I don't think he can beat the Beast, does he?
Listen to me, Joseph. Your father is making great progress. I'm very hopeful for him.
Did you know the first Superman couldn't even fly? And Metropolis is actually New York City. And what about all the coincidences in what I was reading?
Comic books are an obsession. Have you ever been to a comic book convention? They sell teen TV shows there. They are selling things. Your friends and family members have lost their perspective. Your dad is trying to fight her abductor. Your son is trying to best his dad. He's the anarchist, he's the brains, he's the reluctant hero. This all sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Comic books are not valid history.
This is where they would paint you with big eyes and bubbles of confusion above your head. You hurt him?
Get back in your room, both of you!
Hey, what wing are you with?
The Beast is saying that he'd like you to roll forward when they come. I believe. I believe. I believe. I believe.
found someone who will require your full potential to come out. A superhuman serial killer.
Don't do this. How can we be the only ones? Maybe we believe something that isn't even true.
Today is your coming out party. At least you know what to wear.
I've turned off the water hoses in your room, David. There's only the door left.
Elijah.
It's metal. But you can't get through it because people's bones
Break against metal, and you're nothing special.
A lot of people are going to die, Overseer, if you don't get through that door.
Miss Patricia said that your bones can break if I, like, tap them. Is that true?
Yes.
So what's your superpower? Your mind? What's mine?
You're 9 forever, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's incredible. You can see the world the way it really is. Always. A kid who can never grow old. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
What's upsetting you, Patricia?
What if he can't do these extraordinary things? What if he is just unwell? Like you.
Everything extraordinary can be explained away, and yet it is true. I think deep down you know this. Everything we will see and do will have a basis in science, but it will have limits. This is the real world, not a cartoon. And yet some of us don't die from bullets. Some of us can still bend steel. That is not a fantasy.
Elijah's changed over the years. He's given up.
We keep him heavily sedated.
But there is a reason for that.
He's too smart for them.
You won't be lonely anymore. You have 2 new friends.
The 3 of you think you have extraordinary gifts, like something out of a comic book. I've developed an effective treatment for this disorder. The light will force a different identity to take over.
Por favor, senora. I want my headphones back.
Step away from the controls now, little doctor.
Can't beat the beast!
So you're not gonna shake my hand and let me walk out of here?
Good for you. What do you want?
I am here to see if tales of the extraordinary being are true. May I meet the beast?
I'm Mary Reynolds.
I need your abilities to get us all out of here and show the world we exist. That sounds like the bad guys teaming up. Do you believe you are an avenging angel, partner? I believe. Avenge us.
I have to get out of here before he gets out.
They are contained.
They always underestimate the mastermind.
It has begun, David. I found someone who will require your full potential. You shouldn't be hiding in the shadows. You might want to try and stop us. A lot of people are going to die.
Now, who'd like a PB and J sandwich?
We're not meant to have this much power.
Finally, all of us together for the world to see what we are capable of.
You need to get out of here.
What have you done, Elijah?
It's amazing to meet you. It is simply extraordinary. Maybe this will all make sense if I explain who I am. My name is Dr. Ellie Staple, and I'm a psychiatrist. My work concerns a particular type of delusion of grandeur. It's a growing field. I specialize in those individuals who believe they are superheroes.
Good for you.
The three of you've convinced yourselves you have extraordinary gifts like something out of a comic book. David Dunn, the only person to survive that train wreck all those years ago.
What do you do?
I'm in security.
You think you have superpowers.
It's a feeling. Vision. I have to touch them.
You believe you are a protector.
My name is Patricia.
I have no question there are 24 identities
I'm Mary Reynolds. Por favor, senora. We almost got you, bro.
that live in that body with you.
The beast is coming any minute now for you guys.
But what I am questioning is your belief that you are something more than human.
And yet, it is true. My bones break easily. I've had 94 breaks in my life.
But you have an extraordinary IQ.
This is not a cartoon. This is the real world.
No way.
And yet, some of us still don't die with bullets. Some of us can still bend steel. I've been waiting for the world to see that we exist. May I meet the beast?
I hope for your sake that he likes you.
That sounds like the bad guys teaming up. A lot of people are going to die.
Don't do this.
Are you ready?
What do we call you, sir?
First name, Mr. Last name, Glass.
I do think this is a very, very unusual trilogy. My favorite thing about this movie is that question of good and evil, what a villain is and what a hero is. I never got to kind of tout the idea that this was in a world where we're asking the question, what if comic books were real? Back in the day when I did Unbreakable, people weren't making comic book movies, so it seemed silly to even mention comic books in the marketing. That's really where we were at that time. And then Split, because of the nature of the reveal at the end, we couldn't tell anybody what it really was, that we were setting up this character in the Unbreakable world, that we were setting up essentially a comic book villain. But with Glass, we can. We can say that's exactly what we're grappling with. What if comic books were based on reality? I do think this is a very, very unusual trilogy. Each movie, I kind of invent a new tone and a new life, a world that these characters are living in. So it was really different for me to kind of bring characters from two different movies that I had invented earlier. Unbreakable was a completely distinct stylistic approach. People weren't making comic book movies, so it seemed silly to even mention. And then we did Split because of the reveal at the end. We couldn't tell anybody what it really was, that we were setting up a comic book villain in the Unbreakable world. But with Glass, we can say that's exactly what we're grappling with. What if comic books were based on reality? Obviously, I started thinking more and more, well, what would happen? Sam would joke, what are we making the sequel?
It's a valid culmination of a trilogy. It'll give an audience a sense of closure.
And when we show it with an audience, their reactions are catching all of these references, and having known Unbreakable so well and seeing what are the connections 18 years later is really powerful.
I've never done a sequel or anything like that before, and so it's so interesting carrying the baggage that you already know because you've seen a chunk of somebody's life.
When I first saw the three main characters in the room together, it was special. All of these characters from my head kind of all sitting together in costume was weird and fun. So the idea of making the final movie of this conversation, it was never super clear. And then when I finished Split, I started thinking more and more, what's common of these two movies?
The overall theme of this movie and Unbreakable and Split too is, what do we all have inside of ourselves? What are we really capable of?
What was great was that it was taking super people, superhero, super villain archetypes and putting them in a very, very different kind of movie.
It's probably the most ambitious thriller that I've ever done. My favorite thing about this movie is that question of good and evil.
First name, Mr. Last name, Glass.
My name is Dr. Ellie Staple, and I'm a psychiatrist. I understand that the three of you think you are superhuman. I am here to discuss the possibility that you are mistaken.
Dr. Staple is a woman of incredible compassion who has a deep-seated belief that her way of thinking is an answer to some of the world's problems.
I've been given 3 days to treat you by whatever means necessary.
The facts you are basing your belief in are wrong.
I suppose I saw her more as a statuesque figure. She's got a lot of sensitivity and empathy for her subjects.
Dr. Ellie Staple specializes in patients that believe they're comic book characters. This is the continuum of belief, of delusions of grandeur that has existed over time because comic books have become this incredible obsession in the world.
It's a very fine line between her clinical manner and her need for order and her ability to become incredibly connected to the person she's talking to. Like classical mythology, these stories are about gods amongst us.
Everything extraordinary can be explained away, and yet it is true. He's still very calculating. He's still strong in his conviction.
He's changed over the years.
That question of good and evil, what a villain is and what a hero is really powerful.
It's a really interesting way to use the comic book world. What happens when you really have a belief that you have superpowers and that you might be superhuman? And don't we all sort of secretly wish, or maybe even secretly think that we do? Your friends and family members have lost their perspective.
You really dissected him, Doctor. Good for you.
I'm a comic book expert. I create the extraordinary. It is time to show the world what we are capable of. I'm in security.
You believe you are a protector.
We have to find these girls before he gets back.
Listen to me. He's a mass murderer. I have to stop him.
My name's Patricia.
I'm Barry Reynolds.
My name is Lou.
Senora, the beast is coming any minute now for you guys.